Let's face it, us e-mountain bikers are a pretty weird bunch of people, aren't we? We all started off probably with standard mountain bikes, then we got obsessed with the more technical, more advanced, more complicated, and dare I say it, more fun e-mountain bikes. But in turn, we've developed some weird traits. So let's go off into the woods and have a look at some of those weird things that we do. Always enjoying the ride and having a smile on your face is going to become the norm when you're out on your e-mountain bike. Normal mountain biking, it's all about pain and suffering. But if you're on an e-bike, you're going to love the ups, you're going to enjoy the downs, constantly smiling the way. The only time you might not have a smile on your face is going to be on those flat fire roads where you're trying to exceed that speed limiter, or maybe if your battery goes flat, that certainly won't put a smile on your face. Yes, this one can definitely be a little bit awkward, especially if you're in turbo mode and that guy is literally crawling up the hill, sounding like he's having an asthma attack. Some of us might even fake a mechanical rather than passing that rider, but overtaking isn't illegal. Just give them a wide berth and say a friendly hello as you carry on that charge up the hill. Enjoy climbing hills, the harder the better, and for some it goes one step further. Let's climb up cliffs, let's climb up the biggest man-made obstacles ever. We've got former World Cup downhill racers that are now obsessed with climbing uphill. This has never happened in mountain biking since the 80s. Worrying about whether your accommodation has got adequate power supply to charge your e-bike. Now this becomes a never-ending search as soon as you get into your hotel room, searching for that plug point to plug your e-bike in. This has got to be higher on the list than a comfy bed or a full-on breakfast in the morning. The main thing is you get that e-bike charged right up. Then there is the weird positions you get into while searching for grip on those technical climbs. Even top riders such as Chris Ackrig recently commented on how he wasn't sitting or standing. He was kind of in that middle ground of his e-bike with the weight towards the front and sometimes towards the rear of the bike. It's all about getting that balance of driving forward and getting the grip to the rear of the bike and stopping that front wheel lifting up. If you get this dialed, you'll get to the top of any climb. Now, riding up hills while seated with the seat slammed, well, that is a definite weird one to be doing. Now, this breaks every single rule in the book when it comes to off-road riding or even road riding. You don't ride with the seat slammed or even in the saddle on those hard climbs. But with the e-mountain bike, it works an absolute treat. You can get your weight down low, you've got that weight over the rear tire driving you up to the top of that climb. If you've got the cadence, you're gonna get to the top of that climb. Torque obsession. Now there is a huge obsession with torque output in motors currently, and obviously the more the better if you have the skills to deliver the power, but more power can land you in trouble. Wheel spins, loop outs, they're all the order of the day if you haven't got the control or the finesse. Learning how to set your bike up and hit the right lines and choose the right components to make the difference to the riding that you will do will make way more of a difference than 20 Newton meters of torque will ever do. You'd never have thought that e-mountain bikes would be used for towing anything besides maybe, well, a kid on a trailer. But well, I managed to tow a Jeep once with someone in it. Bit crazy, isn't it? But we do loads of stuff with towing. We tow other riders to the top of the hill. We tow our kids, we tow trailers, we put bike seats on. The list is literally endless. Oh, and you can have a pretty crazy tug of war with your mate on a normal bike. Because e-bikes have a limited battery, it's always a worry just how far you can ride. E-mountain bikes can climb up super steep grades and get to the top of difficult climbs, but can they get you home after a big ride out in the hills? Sure, you can stick a bit extra battery in your backpack, but that does come at a big expense and a bit of a weight penalty. It's all about learning how to manage your battery over a ride and the conditions that will affect it, because how much enjoyment can you get out of a ride when all you're worrying about is if you can get back on the battery you have and not doing the dreaded flat battery ride home. Range anxiety is one of the worst things out on a big ride. We have one bike for every style of riding. Now, how come a downhill bike can be used on a cross-country ride? Now that shouldn't work. or a full-on e-bike be used to commute into work? And what's this going on? A trials challenge, hopping around on rocks and spinning off roofs like trials bikes? Bar spins, backflips and 360s? Just like a dirt jump bike? What can an e-bike do? And finally, us as riders, well, we can get a little bit weird, especially if you've been really absorbed in that ride, you've forgotten to eat and you've forgotten to drink. You can definitely get a bit weird out there in the woods. Before you know it, it's time to get back, rehydrate, refuel, regroup, stick a fresh battery in and go out and do it all again. Whew. Tough work is e-biking. So maybe we are a little bit weird, but we know we're having the best time out there on two wheels that you could ever have. But let us know down in the comments box below if we've left any weirdness out. Love to hear if you've got any weird habits out there in the woods. Give a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to us here on EMBN and give us a find and follow on social media too. And remember, keep it weird.